preaching program and other outreach programs of ISKCON Mayapur, and he is now been traveling all over the world, preaching Krishna consciousness, following his spiritual master, his Swami Guru Maharaj, and he accepted sannyas in the year 2022 on Radhashtami day. So we welcome Maharaj once again by we all chant Hare Krishna from Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Fix it and then we'll start. Sorry for the misspelling.
Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhare Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhare Jasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhare Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhare Jasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana जमुना तेरा वनचारी जमुना तेरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव राधा माधव जय राधा माधव जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक आचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतशिष्य माता भय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की ISKCON Beauty Founder Acharya Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Vishnupada Paramhansa Parivrajaka Acharya Ashtottara Shatashi Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Ramacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki Patit Pavan Shri Gaur Nitai ki Lakshmi Narsinga Bhagavan ki Shri Radha Bengaleshwar ki ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की समवेत गौर भक्तविंद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories all glories to Guru and Gauranga all glories to Srila Prabhupada Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स पदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादं सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्नाय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिष्ये नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Deving Sarasating Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityang Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Translation is happening there. Can I just Swami?
ಹರೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ. ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಭಕ್ತರಿಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಅನುವಾದ ಬೇಕಿದೆಯೋ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನಾರಾಯಣ ಪದ್ಮನಾಭ ಅವರು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕನ್ನಡ ಅನುವಾದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ, ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಹರೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ.
So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 4, text number 1. We're beginning the new chapter. The chapter is entitled The Appearance of Sri Narada. Vyaso Vacha Iti Bruvanang Sangstuya Muninam Dirghasatrinam Vriddhakula Sutam Vabricha Saunaka Abrave. Vyaso Vacha Iti Bruvanang Sangstuya Muninam Dirghasatrinam Vriddhakula Sutam Vabricha Saunaka Abrave. Vyaso Vacha Iti Bruvanang Sangstuya Muninang Dirghasatrinam Vriddhakula Sutam Vabricha Saunaka Abrave. Vaishnavis, ladies. Vyasa Vyasadev Uvacha said Iti thus Purvanam speaking Samstuya congratulating Muninam of the great sages Dirgha prolonged Shatrinam of those engaged in the performance of sacrifice. Vriddha, elderly. Kulapatihi, head of the assembly. Sutam, unto Sutta Goswami. Bohurichaha, learned. Saunakaha, of the name Saunaka. Abravir, addressed. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. On hearing Sutta Goswami speak thus, Saunaka Muni, who was the elderly, learned leader of all the rishis engaged in that prolonged sacrificial ceremony, congratulated Sutta Goswami by addressing him as follows. Purport. In a meeting of learned men, when there are congratulations or addresses for the speaker, the qualifications of the congratulator should be as follows. He must be the leader of the house or an elderly man. He must be vastly learned also. Sri Saunaka Rishi had all these qualifications, and thus he stood up to congratulate Sri Sutta Goswami when he expressed his desire to present Srimad Bhagavatam exactly as he heard it from Sukadeva Goswami and also realized it personally. Personal realization does not mean that one should, out of vanity, attempt to show one's own learning by trying to surpass the previous Acharya. He must have full confidence in the previous Acharya, and at the same time he must realize the subject matter so nicely that he can present the matter for the particular circumstances in a suitable manner. The original purpose of the text must be maintained. No obscure meaning should be screwed out of it, yet it should be presented in an interesting manner for the understanding of the audience. This is called realization. The leader of the assembly, Saunaka, could estimate the value of the speaker, Sri Sutta Goswami, simply by his uttering Jathadhitam and Jathamati, and therefore he was very glad to congratulate him in ecstasy. No learned man should be willing to hear a person who does not present the original Acharya. So the speaker and the audience were bona fide in this meeting where Bhagavatam was being recited for the second time. That should be the standard of recitation of Bhagavatam, so that the real purpose can be served without difficulty. Unless this situation is created, Bhagavatam recitation for extraneous purposes is useless labor, both for the speaker and for the audience. Mukham karati vachalam punghur langhaite giring jatkripa tamaham bande Sri Gurung dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. First of all, I like to congratulate all of you for coming here, and I also like to express the gratitude to the organizer of this temple for giving me the opportunity to be with all of you and discuss something from Srimad Bhagavatam. So here, the qualification of the speaker, qualification of the audience, is explained by Srila Prabhupada in the purport very wonderfully. And we should analyze our situation. So, at the beginning, I need to be honest that I am not qualified to sit on the Vyasasana and talk about Srimad Bhagavatam. At the same time, Srila Prabhupada expected his followers to speak Srimad Bhagavatam just as a duty or service, and that is our only hope. Reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is the only hope for our spiritual perfection. So here, Prabhupada is telling who is a realized person. He is telling realization does not mean that we give our own interpretation. I think like that. That is not realization. That is called speculation. We are thinking so many things, but don't try to think what has been spoken very clearly by our acharyas. So realization means that should be in the line of the previous acharya. The original meaning cannot be changed. That's why Prabhupada wrote Bhagavad Gita as it is. But at the same time, he gave his own purport. That is interesting. So another place Prabhupada has written, what is the symptom of realization? Who can present the complicated subject matter in a very simple way? And what is the symptom? Who has not understood anything? Who can present the simple matter in a very complicated way? So, understanding has to be there. Clear understanding is the symptom of realization. There are three levels of knowledge: acquired knowledge, realized knowledge, and revealed knowledge. Acquired knowledge means information. By reading, by hearing, nowadays Google search, you can get a lot of information. The whole world is loaded with information. That is called acquired knowledge. But spiritual life is not for information. Spiritual life is for transformation. So how transformation will take place? From information, how it will become transformation? That's why we need a guru. It's not that I just read Shastra and just become realized person. To become realized, we need to hear. That is the secret. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadha ko bunay Sravanadi Suddha Chitte Karho Uday. The love of Godhead which is dormant in our heart can be awakened simply by hearing the message of Godhead. So hearing is the process. Hearing is more important than chanting at the level of sadhana. And we should hear more and talk less. And our bodily structure is also like that. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth. By this we should understand we should hear at least double whatever we speak, right? But Kali Yuga is not the Yuga of hearing. Kali Yuga is the Yuga of talking. We love to talk. And Sukadeva Goswami also says in Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, Swata Vyadini Rajendram Ninamtan Santi Sahasrasa Apashatam Atmatattam Griheshu Grihomedhinam. In this world, people have many subject matters. How many subject matters? Sahasrasa. Means how many? Thousands. Thousands of subject matter. How many newspaper? Now it's online newspaper is also available. So many newspapers every day are coming out. And about a insignificant planet of 7 continents, so many newspapers. So there are unlimited number of universes in this material world. One which is 1/4 of the total creation. And 3/4 is the spiritual world. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada used to say, there should be newspaper at every moment should come out with unlimited information. But what to do? People don't have interest in this world to hear the news of the spiritual world. So coming back to the point of realization. Realization, the process begins from hearing. And Prabhupada used to say, hear attentively. Hear with rapt attention. Prabhupada says, sit properly. Unless you sit properly, very difficult to hear properly. Otherwise what will happen? It's a very good place to do something very interesting. I say the gopis used to condemn the creator, that why the creator has given eyelids. But we thank the creator that he has given the eyelids, and it becomes so useful during Bhagavatam class. And gopis used to feel lot of separation when the eyelids used to drop, right? And for us, if it drops during Bhagavatam class, we pray that it does not come up again. We feel so happy about it. And some devotee says that whatever freshness we get during sleep at night, some portion of Bhagavatam class, if we have some nap, it gives lot of refreshment. Right? We feel so fresh. So that is the power of Bhagavatam. Many people go to the doctors because they cannot have sleep. Yes, very difficult. And they take a lot of medicines also, even after that, very difficult to sleep. So why they waste money in that, we don't know. Come to Bhagavatam class. Your problems will be solved. So there was a man, I am not telling a joke, there was a man came during Prabhupada's time. And he came during Bhagavatam class, 8 o'clock in the morning, and he did not know what is Bhagavatam class, he just came. And he saw that many people, many devotees are sitting there, so he also sat. And he saw that devotees are also sleeping. So after some time, he also slept. But the devotees knew that after class there is breakfast. So after class they woke up. But this man did not know that after the class is breakfast, that's why he did not wake up, he was still sleeping. So devotees went to wake him up. And he woke up. And he said, the devotee said, now is the time for breakfast. He said, oh really? Breakfast is also available. So how much I have to pay? He said, it's free. He says, very good institution. Class is also free. Breakfast is also free. Very good. But I have a desire, I want to meet your Swamiji. He said, why? I think your Swamiji is very special and very powerful. So they thought he really liked the class. He said, why you are thinking like that? He said, I have to be honest with all of you that I have a problem that I cannot sleep. In my whole life I did not sleep. I went to the doctors, took so many medicines, even at night also I cannot sleep. But I don't know what happened in front of your Swamiji. 8 o'clock in the morning, sitting down with so many people, I just slept. So, point is that it's very difficult to hear. That is the conditioning of this material world. So how? First, hearing is difficult, attentively to the next. Keeping the eyes open is difficult. Then how to keep the ear open and hear, and then also concentrate the mind and focus on hearing. Very difficult. So what is the solution? What is the solution? So Narada Muni will explain in the future, in subsequent chapter, how he developed the taste in hearing. He said that somehow I got the opportunity to serve the Bhakti Vedantas. His mother was engaged, so because of that he got the opportunity to serve them. And Bhakti Vedantas really liked Narada. And out of love, they gave the Mahaprasad, the remnants from their plate. And after honoring that Mahaprasad, Narada Muni said, I lost all the taste of this material world. And I developed taste in hearing about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is the secret. And Narada Muni said like that. And Prahlad Maharaj, what he is telling, what is the hope in our life? How we can have some taste in spiritual life? When we bathe our body with the dust of the lotus feet of the pure devotees. That is the secret. Chaitanya Bhagavat explains, Bhakta Pada Raj, Bhakta Pada Jal, Bhakter Uchchista Tin Sadhanar Bal. The most powerful forms of devotional service. What are those? 3 things. Bhakta Pada Raj means dust from the lotus feet of a pure devotee. Bhakta Pada Jal, that Charanamrita from the lotus feet of the pure devotee. And remnants, Mahaprasadam, from the plate of the pure devotee. Most powerful. And these 3 things are very contaminated according to material calculations, right? People cannot understand what's going on here. That's why spiritual world is completely opposite to the material world. Whatever is topmost in the spiritual world, it is abominable in the material world. And whatever is most abominable in this material world, that is topmost in the spiritual world. So it's a perverted reflection. So coming back to the point that how we can develop attraction in the process of hearing, by serving the Vaishnavas. 2 Bhagavat. One is Parshan Bhagavat and Book Bhagavat. So taste in hearing from Book Bhagavat will develop when we serve devotee Bhagavat or Parshan Bhagavat. That is the secret. So how different level of hearing we can have in our spiritual life. One kind of hearing, people come, sit down, and after some time, class is finished, they go back. And they appreciate, it was a good class. But he did not listen anything. But he appreciates, so it was a good class. What did you learn? What was there in the class? That I don't know, but it was a good class. Why? Because he is too much influenced by Rajaguna. His body was there, but his mind was somewhere else. So the word or message entered through one ear and went out from the other ear. हिंदी में बोलते हैं इस कान से उस कान, इसका नाम ISKCON. Hearing. कुछ अंदर नहीं गया. So this is not good hearing. And another, those who are influenced by ignorance, what they do? Good opportunity to enter into samadhi. So as soon as class begins, he also begins. But in that also there is some benefit. So I'll try to narrate a story, a funny story. Even if you sleep, I'm not recommending that. Even if you sleep in association of devotees, there is some benefit. So there is a talk going on in North India, Katha. They say Katha, Hari Katha. So one person used to come every day. Katha was going on for many days. And every day he used to come. And he will sit at the front row. So it is expected those who sit at the front row, they should hear attentively. Good students, they sit at the front, right? And those who want to do something else. But some people in our gathering, they are so sincere, they come at the front and they sleep. And that disturbs the speaker like anything. That's why I recommend, if you want to sleep, no problem. But don't sleep at the front. Go back and sleep. So I was talking like that in one class and one devotee was sleeping in front of me. So he went back and followed. I started sleeping at the back. So this man used to come as soon as class begins, he starts. He goes into samadhi. As soon as class ends, he wakes up. He never heard a single word. And it did not happen for one day, every day. And the speaker became fed up with that person. Fed up. So out of frustration, he did something. And that is the theme of the story. So when he used to come in the hall, so when he was coming in, the speaker used to see he has come in. So he used to ask him in Hindi. हिंदी में कथा हो रहा था. He used to ask in Hindi, आ गया क्या? आप भी थोड़ा याद रखिए. So आ गया क्या? Frustration में बोल दिया. Then he used to sit down. Then he used to say, बैठ गया क्या? Then nothing was audible because he was sleeping. So after class was over, then he used to go back. That time he used to ask, जा रहा है क्या? So these three sentences, just like Veda Vakya, he heard. Three sentences. What are the three sentences? I'm just checking you are sleeping or not. What was the first one? Dusra? Third one? Very good. You are hearing. He also heard very attentively, with rapt attention, every day. And when you hear repeatedly and attentively, it sinks into your system. And because of that, what he was doing during sleeping also at night, he started talking. Right? That happens. Those who are addicted in certain things, just like young boys, when they play football, daytime they play football in the field, and nighttime also they play on the bed, but he does not understand, but who sleep next to him, he understands. And he shouts, goal. Right? And other person feels, Hari Bol. So, when you are addicted, then we start speaking at night. So this person also developed that habit. And he used to speak these three sentences. आ गया क्या? बैठ गया क्या? जा रहा है क्या? And that man was a very rich man. And he was single man. One thief got the news that he has a lot of money in his house. So he chalked out a plan. to steal the money. So he did some survey, what time he goes to sleep, this and that. So he got all the reports, but he did not have that report that he speaks at night. Other than that, everything was reported. So he thought that at 12 o'clock will be the good time to go and steal. So he came. As per the report, everything was dark, nobody was there, no sound was there. She entered into the house. But as soon as he entered into the house, he heard, "Aa gaya kya?" He said, "Nobody is here. Where from sound vibration is coming?" Then he became a little scared. To hide himself, he sat down. So when he sat down, he heard more louder, "Baith gaya kya?" Then he started thinking, somebody is watching like camera. He said, "I'll be caught." So out of fear, he started running away from the house. And when he was running out, he heard more louder, "Ja raha hai kya?" This is the power of association. Even if you sleep, you get the benefit. But don't get inspiration by this. But get the lesson. If someone can get this kind of benefit, even he or she sleeps at class, then if someone is hearing attentively, what is going to happen? So by sleeping, he could drive away the thieves from his house. But if you hear attentively, there are thieves residing in our heart since time immemorial. Lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion. So when we hear attentively from a sadhu, all these thieves within the heart will run away out of fear. That is the power of attentive hearing. That's why we have to hear, and that sound vibration should enter in our heart. That is called hearing. And is explained, when a realized soul speaks, he does not speak from his brain. He speaks from his heart. Realization means from the heart. Does not mean he does not prepare, but he does not talk from his brain. He talks from his heart. And it is said, in the heart of a pure devotee, the Lord takes rest. So you may say, Lord is there in everyone's heart. What is the big deal? Pure devotee. This is a big deal. Why? Because in the heart of every living entity, Lord is there as Paramatma. But in the heart of a pure devotee, Lord is there as Samasundar, Govinda, Madhava. That is the difference. And when that pure devotee speaks, that sound vibration carries the aroma of the dust of the lotus feet of that Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why that sound vibration becomes very potent. Birjavati Harikatha. Very, very potent. And what it can do? When that sound vibration goes to the ear of the sincere listener, attentive listener, and goes to the heart, then Krishna is transferred from the heart of the speaker to the heart of the listener. That is the power of attentive hearing from a realized devotee. And Prabhupada explains, that is the meaning of initiation. That is the real meaning of initiation. But we feel very happy by getting initiated when our name is changed. I am initiated. Why? My name is changed. And those who are staying in the ashram, hairstyle also changes, dress also changes. Everything is changing, but real change is not happening. Initiation means change in the heart. It's not a ritual only. But we become so much concerned about the ritual. External. That is also important. Just like in order to play cricket, you have to have external dresses, right? But by dressing like a cricketer, if you say, I have become a great cricketer, doesn't work like, it works like that? Doesn't work. To play cricket, you need the dress. But by wearing the dress, you cannot claim that I am a cricketer. In the same way, you cannot say, oh, I am perfect now. Why? Because I am initiated. Initiation is the beginning, it's not the end. Diksha is the beginning of our spiritual journey. Mahaprabhu is telling Rupa Goswami, Brahmanda bhamite kona bhagyavan jeev, Guru Krishna prasade pai, bhakti lata bij. Bij means seed. Brahmanda bhamite. We are wandering in different universes, in different forms of life. But out of great fortune, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, we get the seed of pure devotional service. And Prabhupada said initiation means seed of pure devotional service. The mantra we get, the process we get, that is known as Bhakti Lata Bij. But getting the seed is the perfection or what? So he said, oh, I have got the seed. Is anything to do after that or not? Anything to do? Okay, very good. So after getting the seed, what to be done? You have to sow the seed. Not sow the seed, sow the seed. Plant the seed. So gardener plants the seed where? Soil. And the soil should be fertile soil. That's favorable, right? So, a sadhaka, a devotee who received the seed of your devotional service, where this seed should be planted. Where is the place? In the heart. Mahaprabhu is wonderfully explaining. The heart is the place to plant that seed. But the heart should be fertile. What is the fertile heart? Soft heart. Heart should be very, very soft. But in Kali Yuga, in the conditioned stage, heart is very hard. It is harder than stone. The Acharyas are explaining, holy name can melt the rock, can melt the stone, but somehow holy name is finding it difficult to melt the heart of the conditioned soul of Kali Yuga. So our heart is harder than stone. So what is the material of our heart? Steel. Special steel. Very difficult to melt. So why it is so hard? Because we have a problem. What is the problem? Ego. Mountain-like false ego. That's why steel-like heart. That's why journey of spirituality begins how? Giving up ego and cultivate humility. Unless and until we become humble, our journey really does not start. It's like the car is in a neutral gear. If the car is in neutral gear, if you push accelerator, what will happen? You say, I'm pushing accelerator, still car is not moving. Why? Because car is in neutral gear. In the same way, our devotional car also will be in neutral gear as long as we have ego. We may think, oh, I am chanting the holy name, hearing Bhagavatam, doing everything, but the things are not happening. Why things are not happening? Because we have the problem. What is the problem? Ego. If ego is there, the car of devotional service cannot move. Everything will happen, but things will not move. So therefore cultivation of humility is very, very important. Sometimes people ask, how long it will take to attain perfection? Dhruva Maharaj in 6 months attained perfection. How long it will take? What do you think? It's a very difficult question, very, very simple question also. So I don't know I told this story here or not, but again I repeat anyway, even if I've told also you'll forget. You forgot. So there was a man, he used to stay in a village and he did not go out of the village in his life. But somehow he had to go out of the village to do some work. And to go to the place, he had to catch a train. And he did not know where is the train station also. He heard that is out of the village, but where he doesn't know, because he never went out of the village. So he came out from his house on the way to the station. And while he was going to the station, on the way he saw one farmer was farming, and he thought better I ask him. Maybe he knows how long it will take to reach the station. So he asked that farmer, how long it will take to reach the station? Farmer did not reply. He was little louder, asking the same question, no reply. He was much more louder, no response. He thought either he has problem here or here. If I spend some time with him, then I will miss the train. Out of fear of missing the train, he started running. And when he started running, the farmer replied loudly. And he said, it will take 15 minutes. So just like you are surprised, he was also surprised. He said, I was screaming, asking the same question, but you did not reply. But when I started running, you replied. Why is that? The farmer said, it is very simple. So how it is very simple? He said, when you asked me the question, that time I did not know your speed. Now I know your speed. If you run in this speed, it will take 15 minutes. So how long it will take for us to go to the spiritual world? Depends on our speed. Time is dependent on our speed. But pride is there will be no speed. So our car will come to first gear when we become humble. Then speed starts working. That is the principle. So what was the discussion going on? Whole thing came up. Can you remember? Hearing. Hearing. So when we hear, the process of realization begins. After hearing, we should contemplate. And after that, we should apply whatever we heard. Application, practice, makes information into transformation. Acquired knowledge will become realized knowledge when we apply those aspects of knowledge in our life. Application is very, very important. So when realization will become complete, then it will become revealed knowledge. Revelation. What is the meaning of revelation? You can see Krishna 24 hours a day. That is the meaning of revelation. Just like Valmiki Muni, he saw the whole pastime and composed Ramayana. Vasudev also will have the same thing. Vasudev will see and compose Srimad Bhagavatam. That is called revealed knowledge. Brahma saw the spiritual world and composed Brahma Samhita. This is called revealed knowledge. It's not a philosophical, poetic expertise. They saw and wrote. Just like Prahlad Maharaj. So Hiranyakashipu became very upset with him. Always Vishnu Narayan, Vishnu Narayan. He was the God, right? He became the God of the whole universe. Even Narad Muni used to tell that I was also glorifying Hiranyakashipu. There's only one God that time, Hiranyakashipu. Everybody used to glorify. The residents of the upper planetary system became his servants in his palace. That was the power of Hiranyakashipu. Right? But when he asked Prahlad, Prahlad said, you should give up everything and go to the forest. He became very upset. And he said, who is God? He said, Narayan is God. And when he was telling again and again, Vishnu is God, Vishnu is God, he was so fed up. He said, where is your God, Vishnu? He is there in the pillar? Prahlad Maharaj said, yes. Some devotees, many devotees think, what's the big deal about that? We also know. Andantarastha paramanuchayantarastha. Lord is there in everywhere. He is also there in the pillar. But Prahlad Maharaj did not say in that way. It was not a philosophical reply. He saw. That is called revealed knowledge. Prahlad Maharaj could see Nrsimhadev in the pillar. That is the symptom of revelation. And that will come when we become perfect in our realization. So, here Prabhupada is talking about that realization. We should be realized. Prabhupada used to encourage his disciple, talk from your realization. Presentation cannot transform people's life. But realized talk can transform people's life. Why Prabhupada could transform so many people in this world? Because he was realized soul. So we have to cultivate this aspect, the realization aspect. And that is the main subject in the purport today. And also, it is explained there should be qualification for the speaker and there should be qualification who is congratulating or welcoming him. And he is telling the person who is the leader should welcome the speaker. It's not a job of some new devotee. The head of the family is telling who is introducing the speaker, he should be the head. And preferably he should be elderly. And he should be learned. He should know what he is talking. Right? In order to introduce or in order to congratulate a learned person, you need to be learned also. Otherwise it will create a mess. Right? That's why we need to be knowledgeable. That is the qualification which are mentioned in this purport. And there will be also a detailed discussion about the qualification of the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. Some hint is given here, but in the subsequent verses, it is explained in detail. And one important aspect is, he should follow the previous Acharya. We should become the servant of the servant of the servant. Prabhupada used to say, Guru is like a postman. Just like postman delivers the letter. In the same way, we should deliver the letter of Krishna if someone wants to act like a spiritual master. He is the transparent via medium. He cannot change things. That's why it's a very responsible service. So we are discussing about Bhakti Lata Bij. That was the topic. So how long? Time is up or what? 5 more minutes. Okay. 10 minutes. So we are discussing, we get the seed of your devotional service. Bhakti, Lata, Bij. And it should be planted in the heart, which should be soft. And what is the symptom? How we can cultivate that soft nature of the heart? By becoming humble. That was the topic. And how to become humble? By serving the Vaishnavas. And how we can develop the taste in hearing? By serving the Vaishnavas. Then slowly, heart will become soft. And Mahaprabhu is telling, after planting the seed, there should be watering. In order to fructify the seed, we have to water the seed. And how to water? We got the news, we have to water. From tomorrow, early morning, take Bisleri water and start giving in the heart. That is the process. It's a different water, transcendental water. Mahaprabhu is telling, Shravan Kirtan Jale Karaha Sinchan. The water of hearing and chanting. That is known as Shiksha. And what was Diksha? Getting the seed. And what is Shiksha? Watering the seed. So getting the seed, one-time event. Watering the seed, how long it should continue? Not lifelong, eternally. Shiksha continues in the spiritual world. There is no Diksha in the spiritual world. Watering should happen even after getting love of Godhead. Mahaprabhu is telling, the sadhaka, when he gets siddhi of love of Godhead, he'll enjoy the fruit of love of Godhead. At the same time, keep on watering the seed of your devotional service. The siddha does two things. He does service as a siddha, and also he continues his sadhana as a sadhaka. And that's what Mahaprabhu is telling here. So Shiksha is a continuous process. And when Diksha and Shiksha combine, then we get the desired result, which is love of God. So we have to be very, very careful in our journey. Sometimes we think initiation is the end. But initiation is not the end. Initiation is the beginning. Getting the seed. And what is Shiksha? Shiksha is watering the seed. That should continue eternally. Then we can get the desired result, which is love of Godhead. And that is the goal of our spiritual life. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande. If you have any question or comment for some time, it is okay?
Hare Krishna.
Question? Somebody should coordinate, raising hand and handing over the mic.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So I will not thank leader of the house, will thank, I will directly ask my question. The question you mentioned that the ruchi in hearing develops after when we serve person Bhagavat. So, and you quoted Prahlad Maharaj that when we bathe ourselves with the dust of the lotus feet of such Mahabhagavatas, right? But does that mean literally, or basically is it just a following instruction? So we see this in Prabhupada's example that he did not do Vahu Seva, but we hear about glories of Vahu Seva also. But many of us we don't get the opportunity of Vahu Seva to our Guru or such great Bhagavatas. So just following the instruction will also yield the same result, or what is the meaning of this Mahiyasam Parivrajaka?
It's explained very clearly, no? Why to speculate? It is explained by Prahlad Maharaj very clearly, and Prabhupada also writes in the purport. Raja Abhisheka means the dust from the lotus feet of the pure devotee.
So you are saying it's a literal meaning, is it?
I am not telling. Prahlad Maharaj is telling.
It's a literal meaning, is it?
Yeah, you read Srimad Bhagavatam.
But Srila Prabhupada, did he do that or he just followed the instruction?
That's the second point.
Yeah.
First point is
That's why I get
that the dust of the lotus feet means what? Why you should speculate? Dust of the lotus feet means dust of the lotus feet. Bhaktapada Raj, Bhaktapada Jal, Bhakti Ruchistatin Chadanar Bal is very clear. Narad Muni also did the same thing.
But we see many devotees who have not done this literally.
That's another question. First, clear your first point.
Okay.
First point means Pada Raja Abhisheka means doing Abhishek with the dust of the lotus feet of the pure devotees. You should not take it like it's a example. Follow the instruction, then no need of that. Rather, we need when we can hear, when we have that. Otherwise, we will not have any interest in hearing. And you should not think that for that you have to be with your guru all the time. How do you know that Prabhupada did not get the Raja dust of the lotus feet of his guru? He did not meet him physically many times, but does not mean that he did not get that aspect. But Prabhupada is telling, Bopu is important, Bani is important, but Bani is more important. Why? Because Bopu may be available, may not be available. But Bani continues to be available, whether his Bopu is there or not there. It's an eternal principle. Just like Diksha is not eternal, but Siksha is eternal. The Bopu of the spiritual master will not stay with us, but Bani will continue. That's why Prabhupada said, I live eternally in my books. That's why Bopu is important, but Bani is more important in that context. Okay? That when you get the opportunity, definitely you should serve. No, Bani is important. Why to go? Because we cannot get, that's why it's not available all the time. But when we get the opportunity, we should grab the opportunity to serve. Okay?
What about the second
But don't grab his lotus feet. So it will be difficult. I heard dust of the lotus feet. Please, Guru Maharaj, give your dust. It's not a mechanical process. That I can understand. You should have faith. You should have respect. You should have that kind of appreciation. Then it will be given. Why Bhaktivedantas gave the remnants? Because Narad Muni had complete faith. That's why they gave. If you don't have faith, what's the point giving? Okay? It's reciprocation. Okay, other question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So you quoted two verses Maharaj from Chaitanya Charitamrita. One is Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhyarupanam, and the second one was Guru Krishna Prashadakaya Bhakti Lutati. So in first verse it says that Krishna Bhakti is already there in every jiva's heart. It just manifests. Second says that the seed of Bhakti itself is given by spiritual master. So, is it there or how do we reconcile these two statements?
Certain things you cannot reconcile. Because it's achinta, veda, tatya. Whatever you cannot understand, you can understand by this philosophy. Okay? So two different contexts is there, but principle, yes. The tendency to love Krishna is there. That is the inherent characteristics of the spirit soul. And Prabhupada gives the example, just like a child, it has the inherent capacity to walk. But he needs some training and help and time, then he'll walk. In the same way, we have love of Godhead, but it's a matter of time how to do that. That process is given in this context while Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was talking to Rupa Goswami. Okay? Just to make us understand.
So here the bead doesn't mean the...
You should not go literally like that. This is transcendental seed. It's not the seed of the plant of this world. That seed is sadhana bhakti. The mantra, bija mantra. That's called bija. Okay?
Hare Krishna. So you were saying about hearing.
This sign, no question? Huh?
Any advice for ladies?
Right?
Any advice for ladies?
That's not a question, okay.
So you were saying we have to hear regularly. And at the same time, you were saying about that knowledge information should change to transformation. For that, we have to apply. So should we focus on hearing some particular thing to apply, or we should then why do we need to regularly hear? Because we have heard one thing, we have not applied that properly, then why do we regularly need to hear?
Because you have to hear regularly, because you have to apply regularly. And if you hear regularly, you can remember. If you don't hear, then you will forget. Kali Yuga mainly. That's why you have to hear. When you hear regularly, then it becomes very important in our life. You understand? When something is repeated, means it is very important. That's why Prabhupada is telling, I am not this body, I am not this body. Why? Hippies used to think, why he is telling like that? We are this body only. Maybe he is not this body, but we are this body. But Prabhupada is telling again and again, I am not this body, I am not this body. Why? Because it is very, very important. So hearing should be regular because it is very, very important. Unless you hear regularly, the tendency to apply will not be there. Okay? Last question maybe?
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, thank you very much for explaining the importance of Vadi and Vapu Seva. But many times we have been recommended that if we immediately try to jump to the Vapu Seva of pure devotees, there is always a tendency to become very familiar, and it is said that familiarity breeds contempt, and we may offend the spiritual master or the pure devotees. So it is recommended that we serve the devotees with whom we are currently staying, and after we have matured in our bhakti, we may go on to serving the spiritual master or the pure devotees.
So for you, who is spiritual master?
Diksha Guru.
That is the main problem in your understanding. We think Guru means only Diksha Guru. That is not understanding. There are two kinds of main Guru, Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru. And both are the same level. Sometimes we think Diksha Guru is superior to the Shiksha Guru. It's not like that. And anybody can become Shiksha Guru. He said, I am your Shiksha Guru. And we also say, he is my Shiksha Guru. Who can be Shiksha Guru? Chaitanya Charitamrita explains, Bhakta Seshta Antarjami. These are the two categories of Shiksha Guru. Who is Antarjami? Paramatma. Paramatma is the one category of Shiksha Guru, and other category is Bhakta Seshta, who is the topmost devotee, like Jiva Goswami. These are the examples of Shiksha Guru. But in our day-to-day life, we take Shiksha Guru very cheaply. And it is explained by Prabhupada, the most important Shiksha Guru, who gives most of the time, in future becomes Diksha Guru. Okay? So your question is, yes, familiarity is very, very dangerous. That's why Prabhupada used to change his secretary regularly, so that they don't become familiar. But does not mean we should not serve. If service is given, we should serve. But we should serve with respect And if we become familiar, then become little away and maintain the respectful attitude. Your point is correct.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, thanks for showing mercy on those who are sleeping during Bhagavatam class also. And
I saw nobody slept today.
very well. Maharaj, thanks for emphasizing more on hearing. In Kali Yuga, it is not that easy to keep our ears open. And more importantly, to speak less and to hear more. Thank you, Maharaj. To express our gratitude to Maharaj, let us all chant Maha Mantra loudly. Hare Krishna! Hare Krishna! Krishna Krishna! Hare Hare! Hare Rama! Hare Rama! Rama Rama! Hare Hare! Thanks, Maharaj, for the nectarian class. Is there any devotees?